So let's talk about the third one.
So yeah, the second one ends, and that's it. There's no like loose strings. It's just like, hey, all right, it's over.
So I'm watching this. My thought process at the end of the second one is like, okay, I really like the first one. I like this one a lot too. This was fun. It had a lot of good effects. Like it was some interesting stuff, and I'm feeling pretty good about going into the third one. It's a bigger budget.
There's more locations. Yeah. It's a better looking first movie.
Yeah. So I'm fairly positive going into the third one.
Now, when I was younger, I would stay up late at night and watch like USA and TNT and TBS or whatever at like late at night in my brother's room because he had cable.
Yeah.
And I would watch shitty horror movies like Mosquito or things like that. Like late at night, Elvira would have like her own movie marathons late at night. And I remember scenes of this movie that now when I watched it again, I remember that scared me as a kid going, wow, that was really dumb now.
This movie's really dumb. It's the thing that, okay, this to me is sort of a running theme for the rest of the movies, and kind of like other horror movies too, but this one specifically. On paper, if you told me like just like the things that happen after the second movie, like 3, 4, even 5, like you just kind of just describe the plots like we're going to, you'd think they actually sound pretty interesting. Like you would think they're actually like, oh, that's cool. That's an interesting place they took the movie. And it's just the execution is just so fucking bad. Like I mean. The fourth one goes up, but three's got to be the low, so right? Can we agree on that, at least for the theatrical movies?
Not counting 9. 3 is considered the worst one of the series.
I want to split up the direct-to-video from... Because there's a 4 theatrical movie.
Everyone agrees. 3 is kind of like a sign of the times. It's very dated.
Which would have been, what, early 90s at this point? I imagine it had to have been early 90s, the way that it plays.
But basically, what people will say, like, it tried to turn it into a slasher flick. It tried to turn it into a monster's gonna get you, like
except there's no slashing going on in the first half of the movie. There's like nothing going on in the first half of the movie. Okay,
92,
and it's so 92. It is so 92.
Yeah.
The club is so 92. Her apartment, the main character's apartment, is so 92. Everybody's clothes are really 92. It's a fucking 90s movie to the fullest.
So let's get into what this movie actually is. Basically it's a reporter.
Yeah, so you got this female reporter, and she's not taken very seriously, and she wants to be a serious reporter. So she's in a hospital. I don't remember why she's in the hospital, but somebody gets brought in, and they've got hooks all over them, like in their skin. No,
she's doing a story at like the ER. It's like there's a lot of deaths and stuff like that. So I went to the ER, and of course the night she's there, it's dead. There's no one coming in with any injuries, and she's literally leaving, going like, all right, I gave up. This sucks, and then in comes that patient.
Right. He's got hooks all over him.
Yeah.
So he's like I don't even know. He's a Cenobite survivor. Is that what he is?
No. I get you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you get to the hospital with chains all over you?
I don't know. It's really weird. So this one doesn't really start with a box. This one starts with the statue.
So there's a club owner who's this young douchey guy who's like, I run the hottest club in town.
Yeah.
My daddy gave me a bunch of money. And he buys a bunch of like art. Really gothic and dark art, like paintings and whatnot. And he goes to this downtown gallery for what I guess you would call them, like in 92, they would have been hipsters.
Right.
He goes and he buys this piece of art that's basically...
It's the pillar from the end of the second film.
In the first two movies... you see in the first one, too. It's a big wooden pillar.
You see in the first one?
In the very beginning when he's collecting all the pieces of the face.
Oh, you're right. It's this block. It's a cylindrical block.
It's like a header. It's like a 4x4.
Yeah.
And it's just got like bits and pieces of like dead bodies all over it.
It's got weird shit all
faces.
over it.
Yeah. But
this one's like a statue.
It's like a ceramic. It's a huge sculpture.
A sculpture, yeah.
That looks like that, but
Pinhead's head is in it.
Like barely.
But you see it.
Yeah.
But why? Just... Because I guess he remembered he was human and got killed. I don't
know. But remember, in this one, it's always like the box is very much meant for you. It was very much meant for this guy to go buy this piece of art because later on when she investigates this place, it doesn't exist.
Some of this plot gets hazy for me later because I know it's just a personality thing and it's just because it's bad.
So this is another one of those, this guy's very much like Frank. He's like, I bang girls at the club all the time. I pretend that I'm into them and I bring them up to my room and I bang them and I go, get the fuck out of here. Well, you think you're just another girl. I don't care about you.
Right.
And in the process of doing that, the statue...
Except this is super downplayed. Like, he only gets to do that one time, basically. Like, he brings one girl up there.
His character is.
But that's how you find out about it. Like, he finds out, he brings the girl up there, he bangs her or whatever, and then Hellraiser just fucking takes her skin off, like, and just sucks her up.
Yes.
and then starts talking to this guy like, he doesn't say Pinhead, but I am this guy. I'm trapped in this thing. You need to bring me shit. You need to bring me people.
I will show you pleasures.
I'll show you all kinds of crazy, awesome shit if you bring me people. So that's happening, and while that's happening, you got the reporter who's trying to find out about this art.
And the guy who came in with the chains, and her link is there's a girl who's like, it's the club downtown is where we kind of came from.
Right. So the victim, I guess, came from the club, but they don't really ever explain it, I don't think. So she finds this girl who knows the club owner. She's into that scene.
She's actually the club owner's ex-girlfriend.
That's what it is. Now, here's the weird thing of this fucking movie. The relationship between the reporter and this girl, to me, I was kind of into it. Like,
well, she's like helping her get a place to live and like get her life together.
Yeah, she's kind of she's gonna end up in porn, basically. Like that's what's gonna happen to her. And she's never had anybody been nice to her. So you got this like reporter who's like all together and lets her stay at her apartment and stuff. And they totally have this little like, they become friends and stuff, right? And it's this awesome actually like this character development that could like pay off later. Like something could actually happen with it later.
And unfortunately, no.
And it's another one of those things where it's just completely forgotten about. I mean, it's not forgotten about, but it's like it doesn't have any weight. Like,
right.
Okay, so the girl, the club owner, she basically, the club owner's like, oh, I know a girl I can get over here.
Yeah.
I'll call my ex-girlfriend, and he sweet talks her into coming back to the apartment, and
well, not right away. So she goes and she kind of entertains the idea or something like that, but she's like, no, I'm not going over to you.
Right.
And what happens is she gets like a note, not a note, but she gets like a message on the phone, and the reporter got a job in like another state. So she's going to be moving. And so the girl's all pissed off. She's like, oh, basically was like, you said you wouldn't go for that job, or like, you would stay with me and help me out, but you're going to abandon me just like everyone else in my life does. So then she leaves and goes to her ex-boyfriend instead.
Yeah. She needs that little push, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, in the meantime, this main character, the reporter character, she's having like dreams, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that part of it? And she has sort of a pseudo connection to the Pinhead character, to like that human side of him, like that soldier. Like he's the one who's like appearing to her in his dream. She ends up in like the World War I battlefield and stuff like that where he's at or whatever. I don't really. It's getting hazy now because this movie's not good.
And she's like, follow me. And she goes to follow him and try to talk to him and stuff.
Okay, so whatever. They set up this connection between dreams early on. So the young girl, the club owner ex-girlfriend, she goes to see him, and then there's a switch, right? So like Hellraiser, instead of taking,
well, so what happens? He locks the door.
Yeah.
And she gets her in there, but then they end up fighting and whatnot, and he's trying to get her to stand in front of the statue.
Right.
Because he knows he can get that, and whatever happens...
The Hellraiser statue has like a 5-foot range.
Yeah.
you gotta get it close.
Yeah, you can't be too far away, but of course, at one point, the chain flies way out there to grab him. But anyways, he's trying to fight her to get her next to it, and she pushes his ass because it starts talking.
Right.
Going, give me one of you guys.
I'm hungry.
It's a little shop of horrors. Feed me.
Yeah.
And so she pushes his ass. She like knocks him out and tries to get the key out of his pocket to get out of there, and she pushes him closer to the pillar.
That's right. And then he's like, wait before you go. Right? Isn't that
what happens?
Is
the guy's like, "Wait, what are you doing, Pinhead? I was your buddy." And he's like, "I don't give a shit about you. I'll use you like I use everybody else to get what I want."
I remember it being different.
So he sucks the dude up.
Yeah.
And she's trying to get out of the room.
Right.
But she doesn't have the key for it, and the guys outside won't let her out.
So she's just seeing this horror show.
And so Pinhead goes like, "I can help you out.
Right.
Why don't you come over here and grab the key out of his pocket?"
Right.
And then she goes over there, and I think he grabs her, and then...
And that's the last you see of her until...
Right, and that's...
later.
That's kind of like... That's right, like, there's no payoff.
It's still kind of like just kind of... it's sort of like forgotten. Like, they could have... It could have been interesting.
She could have survived later, and the reporter could have, like, saved her or something like that. But no, they just let her get sucked up.
They just let her get sucked up. She's sort of just unceremoniously gotten rid of. Okay, this is where I'm going to start really shitting on this movie. I'm sorry. This is, for me, kind of the watching fatigue starts setting in a little bit at this point.
But this is where the whole, like, they turn the genre. It becomes a, like, slasher flick because now, at this point...
But there's no stalking going on. There's no slasher
But what I mean is it becomes very, like, it's gore for gore's sake.
The next thing I remember is the club scene.
Yeah, that's what happens next. It's not...
Well, we got to talk about this then, about how there's the id and the ego or whatever for... So, I don't remember... It's explained in the movie, but I don't remember how the Pinhead character, Doug Bradley's character, whenever
That happens after.
Does that?
Yeah.
No.
Because she's got to take him to his apartment. So,
okay.
The club scene happens, and what the club scene is that now that Pinhead's got enough bodies, he basically blows out of the statue and just, like, kicks the door down and goes, there's a club here with like hundreds of people in it, and my Cenobites are out, which now he's turned.
No, that's like the unchecked ego. That's Pinhead. See, okay, so like Doug Bradley's Pinhead character, there's like two parts of it. There's the part that's human, that's the soldier character, whatever, and he has somehow separated himself from
because of what happened in the second movie.
It's his unchecked whatever. It's the Pinhead character that exists with no humanity.
There's Pinhead's the bad side of it.
It's the ego, it or whatever.
The Pinhead's the bad side of his personality, and the regular person is the good side.
I guess.
Yes, because it comes up in
so
6.
The bad guy in this movie is not technically the personality that was in the first and the second movies. This is just like the pure
evil.
Pure evil.
Right.
This is Pinhead without having a human attached to him.
Yeah, whatever.
I guess whatever. So he comes out and he wreaks havoc on this club, right? And this is where it really kind of it became a horror movie. It had a good effect early in the movie when the Hellraiser statue just tore the skin off that girl and sucked her to... That was actually pretty good.
Very much a scene that you see in the Silent Hill movie when Pyramid Head picks that chick up and just rips her all skin off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Talk about influence or homage.
Influences. This is where it just
turns into ice.
Oh, fuck this movie. Fuck this movie. I'm sorry. Like I just got really pissed because like this is, if you're gonna be, you can be a horror movie, and even like bad horror movies, like you're gonna be creative with your horror. Like you gotta make it cool. You gotta make it interesting. And he just like, this is supposed to be the scene. Like the audiences and people that complain about Hellraiser 3 are like, oh, Pinhead's not in the movie until like the very end. Like he doesn't appear until way later or whatever. He finally shows up. You have this whole club full of people that he's just going to tear apart. And for me, it's just the most like underwhelming, like boring shit ever. There's just shit like, there's a fucking girl and she's got a cocktail in front of her. She's like drinking a, vodka tonic or,
It's got ice in it.
Whatever.
It's got ice cubes.
And so the water or the liquid levitates out of the glass. Crystal, it turns into Hellraiser's face, and he goes,
it's Pinhead's face.
It's Pinhead's face, and then he turns into like a spike, and then he right into her mouth.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just
why?
It's just like it's getting so far away from like what Hellraiser is. Like it doesn't make any sense, and the movie just keeps getting more and more like that. Like you wonder if they were just making fun of their own movie at this point.
And then the DJ gets killed by his own CDs or whatever, and then he becomes a Cenobite who like throws CDs at people and like slices
he's CD
them up.
Cenobite, and you wonder, it's like, is it just the 90s? Is it just like, oh, this is cool and this is what's in, so we're gonna do this? There's a cameraman, the reporter's cameraman.
That's later.
No. That happens in the club. No, she finds him in the club. She finds him dead in the... No, maybe you're right.
Oh, but they get there after the club's already been... After everyone's been killed. So all the chains have locked the door so no one can get out, and they're just massacring people.
Right.
And the scene that I remember seeing as a kid was they show you a shot of the outside of the door, and they pan down to the bottom of the door, and blood's just flowing out the bottom of the door.
Right, which you would think you see that scene and you're like imagining what the fuck is going on in that room, and what little you see of it is just
at like age not. I was like 10 years old when I saw it, so it made an effect on me. But
I'm so disappointed.
Either way, so
the movies are so gross up until this point.
That whole scene was just stupid. It was just a lot of gratuitous death with no real thought behind it or any kind of like it's cool. Like it's
so this was the movie's trying to be cool, and then so you got CD Cenobite, you've got camera Cenobite.
So what happens is the reporter is going to this club afterwards, and she calls the camera guy up that's got like kind of a thing for her.
Yeah, maybe.
They're really good friends. They kind of go back to meet me there.
He's the one who keeps like telling her, "Hang in there, kid. You're gonna make it." Yeah.
She tells him to go meet her there. He gets there first. She gets there. His car's open. The emergency lights are on. She's nowhere to be found. She goes inside the club and just sees tons of dead bodies everywhere. Right. And when she goes inside, the camera guy had been in there before her and had gotten killed, and now he's a Cenobite with the fucking camera lens for an eyeball.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking cyborg.
He looks like a Borg.
He looks like an X-Men, And he says shit like, "Get ready for your close-up, Kirsty," and like things like that. The bartender
So the bartender was the writer,
because he does a cute trick
by the
with
way.
it. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Peter Atkins was
Peter
the
Atkins, who wrote
bartender.
this, is the bartender, and he does like a thing where he like blows fire or something like that, and so he becomes the fire blowing Cenobite.
Right. All I remember what happens after this is
I don't remember anything anymore after this.
She's supposed to take and lure Pinhead to her house, her apartment, where she's going to go through a magical door to her balcony or whatever it is. that the good Pinhead guy, Doug Bradley,
right,
is waiting. Said, you have to lure Pinhead here so I can converge us together as one again.
Yeah.
And then I can help control him.
Right.
So she's got to lure them to her house, and she's running from the club, and literally the streets are just exploding.
Yeah.
All the signs are shooting fireworks off. There's fire everywhere. Cars are blowing up. And she's just like, ah! And you're running, and things are going off next to her, and she's just like, I don't know how I'm going to get all the way home. I don't remember if she ever does get home or not.
I mean, she ends up in her apartment.
She walks.
There's a lot of her running away from these Cenobites in the streets,
and it's just,
and the cops are showing up, and they're like,
"Oh, they're shooting!"
Freeze! And blowtorch guy is like, he burns them all.
Yeah, it's stupidity. It's just lots of, like, I imagine the budget was like special effects in terms of like not CGI.
Yeah, the budget is clearly less than the second one.
No, it's just explosions. It's just like blow up a bunch of shit for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. She gets to her house. She lures Pinhead in. They converge, but it doesn't work. Like, he sucks up the good version of himself and goes, so what? And she's like, ah, shit, now what? She has the box. And they're like, no, don't have the box. So she runs away, and she runs to a construction site.
She doesn't make a deal?
I don't think she makes a deal.
I'm just making a guess, because that's how you get out of these things. You either have to close the box.
He's Howie Mandel. He's got no hair. He's Howie Mandel.
Who's Howie Mandel?
Pinhead.
Why is he Howie?
Deal or no deal?
Deal or no deal, yeah.
He's got no hair. I don't know. Basically, she runs to a construction site. She's got the box. She finally figures out how to open it. She's like, oh, you need to go to hell. And the girl in the club owner, the ex-girlfriend, whatever, they're there. She got a cigarette in her throat, because that's how they killed her, I guess. That's just stupid. She's like,
she smokes a lot.
You left me. You're so mean to me,
right.
you know. She's just like, I don't know what, go to hell. Opens the box, you know, rah, and then she throws it in the cement.
Which is, again, one of those, like, on paper things, because that is a great setup for the fourth one, for Bloodlines. Like, the fact that it's this foundation for this building being built.
I think it's actually the end of 3. It shows the
That's right. That's
building.
The end of the 3, and it sets up the fourth one.
Regardless, what happens is she does that. 3 was called Hell on Earth. That's the subtitle.
Okay.
Because Pinhead comes to the real world.
Because Cenobites walk around in the streets, that's why. And they're way less scary when they're not in confined spaces. They're out just, like, walking around.
Yeah, and Pinhead's, like, getting a kick out of it. He's, like, laughing and stuff. It very much is not his character.
That's right. There's a whole scene in a church, too, isn't there, with, like, a priest and shit? And
he kills a priest.
He, like, takes a pin out of his head and he makes him eat it, or I don't even remember.
It's silly, and she keeps having dreams about her dad in Vietnam or some shit, whatever. She goes to the construction site. She solves it. And she zaps them all back to hell, and she buries it in this construction site, which, the end of the movie, they show that building ended up getting built,
right?
And a lot of the architecture of the building looks like the box.
It's the Lamech configuration, the building.
Right.
And, again, I got to take my hat off to it. Like, that's a fantastic, that's an awesome plot
Because no
point.
matter what you try to, the whole idea is, like, you try to get rid of this box. You try to get it, like, hidden away so that it won't happen again, but it always finds a way.
Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure not once so far in any of these movies has anybody tried to break one of these boxes. They can have one little scene where they're like trying to smash it with a hammer or something and the hammer breaks or whatever. They don't do anything like that. So why bury it in fucking cement? Nobody tries to break these fucking things. You close it and then you break it.
Hey, nobody tried to break Jimmy Hoffa. You just bury him in cement.
Which actually, I mean, I know you don't want to talk about the comics yet, but some of the comics actually pick up in the continuity of the movies, and that's like the whole deal. Is they're like trying to find all those Lamech configurations and break them. And you know what they need to break a Lamech configuration?
Another Lamech.
A sledgehammer. That's all they need.
Whatever.
Anyway.
Some of the stuff in the later movies, like, it kind of like pulls you. Like, you don't want to break it. You're always fascinated by it, even if you don't want to open it. So whatever.
3's bad. We're gonna move on from 3.
3's bad because it's a '90s movie, and it's corny.
It's just bad. It's got so much fat on it. It's the same thing I'm going to say with a lot of these movies. You could cut 30, 40 minutes out of these fucking movies, and
there's no good running theme of 3. It's just it's a slasher flick. It's very meant to be like, there's lots of stuff going on. There's explosions, there's blood, whatever. But there's nothing
at least
to be
a slasher
learned.
flick. I guess that's true, because you get the death of the girl that gets taken up in the nightclub. Like there is some death in the first half of the movie, but not much. In a slasher film, you usually get like.
What I mean is, there's no like. The other movies had like this kind of weird plot and lore to it, and this was very much
just more like death to death to death.
Yes,
I see. Yeah, absolutely. So this is the devolution,
and like you said, time for your close-up. It's just bad one-liners. It's not like Schwarzenegger bad one-liner where you're like, that's cool. I mean, stick around's gonna last forever.
Yeah.
But ready for your close-ups, like who patted themselves on the back when they wrote that, or they were like, "This is really stupid. We should use this."
Yeah, I mean, at some point it seemed like they just leaned into the silliness. Like,
exactly.
It's clearly happened with. But it's a shame because like there's more like scary shit and like fucked up things about the Hellraiser universe to be mined.
Absolutely.
Which other movies kind of do later. Kind of.
So we'll get on to 4. This is gonna take. Remember, there's 9 movies, people. It takes a long time to describe
so at this
these.
point, the only reason why I even continued, because I'm still, this is all one viewing in one day, the only reason I continue is because everybody says 4 is better than 3. Bloodline's better than 3, and this is the one, because what does every horror franchise do at some point or another? It gets to space, right? Jason got to space, and Jason X. I'm pretty sure Leprechaun went to space.
Yes.
So this is the Hellraiser space movie, or at least part of it.
So, Hellraiser 4. In space.
Is it Bloodline or Bloodlines?
Z.
Because you're right, there's multiple Bloodlines.
I guess.
Okay.
So we talk about joking like going to space.
But it's actually kind of cool.
So this is another one of the ones where it's dated because it tries to have like 3D CGI in it, and it looks stupid now because it looks like a early computer.
You can level that a lot. I watched Event Horizon like less than 6 months ago. And there's some horrible fucking CGI.
I guess.
Like floating cans and bottles and stuff. It's so bad.
Regardless. So there's a guy in a space station. He's by himself. He's torn the space station to pieces. He has a limit configuration. He's got the box. And he has a robot trying to open it.
Well, he's got like hands.
He's got like Minority Report gloves.
He's got Minority Report glove things.
And he's controlling the robot.
Right, with his hands.
And he's opening the box in this like room that he thinks he's going to trap Pinhead in.
Right.
He's going to try to finally stop Pinhead, whatever. Obviously, this is far in the future. This is not present day.
This is in the future, because he's on some big space station when he's doing this.
And so some cool SWAT commando space marines with rubber guns look like they're molded out of soap from Ernest Goes to Jail or something.
It's the kind of thing me and my friends made when we were kids. And then, shot each other around the neighborhood.
It's fun to freeze frame it and look at the gun. They're so bad. And it looks like a gun's made out of metal. If your barrel is wobbly, you don't have a good gun.
Yeah.
Regardless.
0G, that's why. Gravity.
Well, they don't care, right? They don't need to have it. So they catch up to him, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, whatever."
Yeah, why are they trying to stop him?
I don't know. No one cares. It doesn't matter. It's not the point of the movie. He somehow locked his cabin up real tight, which is where he's keeping Pinhead in, whatever. They're going to arrest him and, like, do something with the ship. And he's like, "No, you have to let me finish." So he's getting interrogated by one of the people on the ship. One of the commandos, a girl. And so this movie starts off in space. Turns out the vast majority of the movie does not take place in space.
We got enough budget for those fake guns and some lighting and some gloves and a robot, and that's about it.
He starts to tell her a story about how this box and Pinhead and all stuff originated.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like...
This is actually a pretty cool idea.
It turns out it's a really good movie in some ways. Long story short, 200 years ago from present day, the guy from Parks and Rec...
You know what?
I don't know.
What's that actor's name?
I don't know. It's Adam. He's also in Step Brothers. He's like the mean older brother.
Yeah. He's Leslie Knope's boyfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, he's the assistant to some like magician dude
It's
in
like
Italy.
a Marquis de Sade style character, like debauchery, like fucking...
They're wearing wigs. They're part of the church, I thought, or something like that.
And I think that this is... Everybody's saying... I'm assuming it's France?
Yeah.
But like nobody's like feigning a French accent.
Whatever. Some rich, churchy asshole pays this toy maker to make a box for him.
And the guy's name is?
La Marchand.
La Marchand.
Oh,
okay.
So that's where the Marchand configuration...
That's why they call them La Marchand boxes.
Yes. So he makes this thing...
They call him the toy maker.
He's a toy maker. He's all proud of it. He finally finishes it. He shows it to his girlfriend, and she's like, no. Like, she knows there's something off with it. But he's like, no, I got to go show it to him. It's my best work ever. He runs over to the house to give it to him. And he's like, okay, here you go. And the girl like, fine, here's your money. Get the fuck out. He's like, okay, don't you want to, like, play with it? Like, get out.
Yeah.
It's all right, whatever. So he peeks back around. He starts looking through the window. With the older guy there who has the apprentice, which is Leslie Knope's boyfriend, they have a girl that they, like, trick into, like, oh, hey, you want to come have dinner with this raunchy old Beethoven-looking dude?
Jack the Ripper, like some prostitute. Let's, feed her grapes and shit.
Yeah, and then... He's practicing magic in a way, kind of like she sees this big feast, and then she kind of looks again, and it's like rotten, maggot-infested meat.
Which is weird, yeah.
Right. Whatever, he's playing tricks. They kill her. they strip her flesh off.
That's right.
Just like in the second one where Julia, they take the skin off. Right. It's like in one big piece. They hang it on chains, hooks and chains.
That's right.
Very Pinhead-like. Yeah. And he does this chant where he opens up the ground.
They create this thing on the like a giant sigil,
like a pentagram kind of thing, and they summon a demon. And what he's doing is that he can summon a demon to inhabit this skin,
right,
to make the body whole. But then he's in control of the demon. Now that's whatever he wants power. That's the thing. It was a pretty lady that they did it in. So the lady's pretty, but you have to remember it's a demon inside.
It's a demon inside.
And the only rule is he's in charge, but you can't stand in the way of hell. Or you don't.
It's really kind of vague.
It doesn't make any sense. Because if hell wants to do something, how are you really in charge of it? Whatever. So I don't know how this happens. If Leslie Knope's boyfriend or the demon mistress lady gets together with the younger guy, but basically he kills off the apprentice kills off the older guy. Yes. And he's like, now I control the demon. Right. Really, he just wants to fuck her.
They have sex for like hundreds of years.
Yeah. He now has power over her. The toy maker saw it and like died or something?
I don't remember.
Or he ran away, no one believed it. I don't know, whatever. But his bloodline goes on. And so he has a history now.
Yeah, but he makes a ton of these fucking things.
Well, no, that's the thing. So he goes off. Leslie Knope's boyfriend's like, sweet. I can do whatever I want, and basically whatever he wants is anal.
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty obvious. The demon at one point is just like, fuck, God damn it. Yeah. But he has to do what he wants. So flash forward 200 years, the demon's like, I need to find the toy maker's bloodline. I need to kill them all off so they can't make any boxes to then... It gets really convoluted at the end. Either, he doesn't want to open hell anymore because she kind of likes being a human now in a way, or likes being on Earth, or she wants to take over hell. Something weird like that. She's at odds with Pinhead at the end. Well, they don't get along.
Okay, so back up. So there's lots of Le Marchand boxes all over the world. Where are they all coming from? Because if he made one,
so his bloodline goes on throughout history, and his.
But you think he told his kid, like, don't make any of these fucking hell boxes? Okay,
maybe he doesn't know. I don't know. Regardless, it goes to like present day, which is like the 90s. The current bloodline guy is an architect, and he's the one who builds the building
from Hellraiser 3.
From 3, that's on top of the box, and it's all inspired by the architecture. And he knows what the Lamont configuration is, and he's trying to perfect this thing where light can continuously bounce off of itself and mirrors to multiply to make this cool thing happen. He doesn't know. No one knows. But he's a computer programmer, and they have some really cool computer graphics where he shows them, hey, look at my 1992 Mac 2, Apple II, whatever it is. Right. It looks so bad. The demon finds out it's him, that he's there, that there's still someone in the bloodline, and she says, I want to go to America. And Leslie Knope's boyfriend, which I guess doesn't age now, because
That's a good point. I didn't really think about that. So he's also just kind of immortal.
Yeah, they're just immortal, and he's just been fucking this demon for 200 years. And it, like, shows in her face that she's just like...
So over it.
Yeah, I'm so over it. Like, this guy's been using me as a meat puppet for a long time for his sexual fantasies.
Also for, like, a demon and, like, all the crazy twisted shit you must think, like, Cenobites and demons are into. Like, what's the best he could really come up with?
But here's the funny thing. It's actually a girl demon. So I guess it's okay.
What?
Because it's not just a demon in the body, it's a girl demon.
What does that make a difference?
Because at least it likes getting... I don't know.
Okay.
At least it's like, okay, if you were a male demon and you were getting fucked all the time, it would suck. At least if you're a female demon, you're used to it, I guess?
You think she's a straight demon?
Yes.
Okay.
She might not like it, but at least it's not a dude on a dude, it's a dude on a girl, so the demon can handle it better.
Whatever. It's pretty clear from the beginning of the movie she's into it.
I'm not against gay marriage. Let me just say that right now. I got nothing against gay people. It's just that if I was a male demon and I was getting screwed, I would hopefully be by the opposite sex.
But even if she's straight and
let's get off this subject.
Whatever. She's into it though. It's not. It's over the hundreds of years that she gets bored of it.
I guess.
She was into it at the beginning.
Maybe.
You can see in her fucking face. She's like, ooh, you're going to tie me up and then we're going to do this shit? Like, she was into it.
She was probably just egging him on because she wanted to be out of hell.
All right, word.
Whatever.
Okay, so flash forward to the future.
She wants to go to America, and he's like, why would I go to America? I could do whatever I want with you here. And she goes, oh, you're standing in my way. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And so she kills him because now she doesn't have to follow his orders because he's standing in her way. And she rips his heart out while it's still beating.
But really, like hundreds of years ago, if she wanted to get away, she's just going to be like,
I want to go to Antarctica.
You're standing in my way. It's like, I really need to get out of the room and you're in my way.
Yeah, I don't know. So she's now on her own, which I guess she got a ticket and boarded a flight to America. But, I mean, she's been around for 200 years, so
they've got all this money from their...
I don't know. So the architect has built this building that's basically one huge Lamont configuration.
Right.
Turns out the building is like a box.
Yeah.
So what happens next? I don't remember.
I don't know. This is where I was getting sleepy during this movie, man. This is the third one in a day.
So the security guards are
reading some kind of a little bit of a, not a romance, but some sexual tension between her and the
Oh yeah, she shows up and she's talking to the guy.
And the guy's got like a wife and kids.
Yeah.
Like the architect's got a wife and kids.
She's trying to get him to basically spill the beans and get her a box or something like that, or she wants to open up this.
So we find that she's like a princess, right?
So no. So that Lamont configuration, the light thing I was telling you about, he shows it to her.
You keep saying Lamont. It's lament.
Whatever.
Like you lament.
It's La Machan.
No.
So
it's
I don't know.
Machan because it's French. It's lament because you lament. Okay, whatever. Lament configuration.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Continue.
You say tomato, I say shut the fuck up. So she realizes that he has like not just opening the box, but like the interior of the box, like what it could do. He's almost about to solve it using computers. And so she wants like this ultimate power to go to Leviathan, which, hey, he pops up again in this movie somehow, just by name. And so he's showing out, he has to do this thing where light has to bounce around and continually, it's like cold fusion, right? It's like impossible. You can make light.
I think it's just like, it's like 100% light, like no shadows. Like there's like nothing
but the light
getting in the way of all
amplifies
the light.
itself. Like
Yeah.
it bounces around where it actually gets bigger and bigger and bigger, then it blows up, whatever. So she's interested in that. Security guards are walking around the building late at night, and they go down this weird hallway, and Pinhead's there because the building's a box, and
right, he just exists there.
Somehow, like the building's opening because it's a puzzle itself, and the demon and him, whatever. There's two security guards; they're twins, and there's some good twin humor there. They finish each other's sentences. They're like, "Hey, I want to go there. Oh, I don't. Well, come with me, buddy. All right, I'm by your side." You know, really corny. They get turned into a Cenobite by. There's this thing where like it goes on the left side of one, the right side of the other, and it smashes them together into like one body. But then their heads get twisted together on like
it's
a
like
rolling...
a cotton candy machine.
Yeah. It's like a rolling pin. It just sucks their skin up, and now they're a Cenobite with like one kind of wide body and two heads.
This is kind of like the lineage,
or is it two bodies in one? And
I don't know. This is like a holdover from the third one, where we're like the Cenobites aren't just going to be like gross and scary.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to have a theme, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have, they're twins.
So they're going to be
twins Cenobites.
We're going to smash
and
them together.
There's a doctor. So he'll be like a doctor Cenobite.
Well,
or he's a cameraman.
He even said,
he'll
like,
be a fucking camera Cenobite.
When he was getting all jacked up, and he was like, "Don't leave me, brother." And Pinhead's kind of like, "Don't worry, he's not going to. Like,
right.
we will oblige your wish, right?"
Yeah.
So Pinhead's there, whatever. The chick goes and kidnaps the wife and daughter, because she wants the guy to show up and.
Well, I think it's interesting what Pinhead says to her, because he calls her like
princess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting sick of you, princess.
So this is like a whole other wrinkle to this whole thing. Is like there's not just Cenobites and Leviathan. Apparently, there's like demon royalty.
Right. So what it is she's going to open the door for Pinhead and Hell to come back onto Earth, and Pinhead's getting like, "You're taking too long."
Yeah.
It turns out like she's like, "Well, fuck you, Pinhead. Like I want this for myself." So she's trying to get the guy to finish that Lamont light thing, so she can get like the ultimate power. Pinhead also wants it. She kidnaps the wife and daughter, gets him to come to the building, and then Pinhead's chasing him down, trying to kill him. There's a dog. There's a big hell dog chasing him.
The dog Cenobite thing. That's not bad. It was kind of cool.
It's just weird, right? Whatever. He finally goes, "I solved it. I figured it out." Computer goes bing, and he starts to do this light trickery thing where the light's bouncing around, and it's like opening a portal to hell, like a big one. But Pinhead and the demon are fighting over it because she wants to be I guess she was princess. Maybe she wants to be queen. I don't know. It makes no sense. They kill the guy, the architect. I think they kill the wife, but the boy's left over.
Remember.
So the bloodlines can continue or something like
But they kill Pinhead, right? Isn't Pinhead destroyed by like the light machine? That's
so
what
the
I
light
remember.
machine goes off, and it's just this crazy... Yeah, something weird happens. Oh, that's what it is. Pinhead somehow gets the box to hook and chain up the princess and pull her in, but then the light thing happens, and it shuts it all down. And it, like, saves him, but not after the architect gets killed. So all that's left is his bloodline. It's his son and his wife are left over.
But it doesn't matter, because the rest of the movies from this point don't even care.
Right.
Like,
There's
no continuation.
It's one of those things
this.
where it seems like cool that the box gets destroyed and it sucks Pinhead up and the demon gets put back. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Because he can still get summoned again later. Yeah. Well, so that's what happens. So This is the...
At this point, I've got my laptop out and I'm doing other things. That's all. I'm sorry to say.
So, but the thing you have to remember is all this is happening because this is a story being told by a guy in the future in a space station.
Right.
Whatever. This thing happens. You flash forward back to the space station, and now Pinhead has gotten out, and he's killing dudes on the space station. He's like, we have to get out of here. I have a plan. And so the only one that believes him is the chick who was interrogating him. They're all trying to run away and get to like the escape shuttle because the guy's got a plan where he's going to do that light thing again using like satellites.
Oh, right, because we're in a different time period now.
Yeah, we're back in the future.
We're closing the book now on 1990, whatever the fuck, and now we're back in the space station.
We're now in the third timeline in this movie.
Okay.
A little convoluted, but super interesting.
Yeah.
He traps Pinhead on the space station. He opens up his own lament configuration.
Lament. Just lament.
He's lamenting that he can't do this.
Yes.
And he does a light show in space with lasers and satellites and light, and he basically blows up the ship. And he thinks, oh, I did it. Like, Pinhead's gone. I used the light thing inside the box to trap him forever. I did it. I'm done. I solved it. I don't care what happens to me anymore. Yeah, woohoo. That's it.
Yeah. We win, right?
Yeah. Nuke him from orbit, right? That's what happens. I don't know.
So that's the end of the theatrical movies. That's the theatrical movies. Okay. They sound... Like, again, on paper, it's cool.
So we've been talking for a while because these movies are really involved.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that happens to them, but there's also a lot of shit where nothing's happening. So there's a lot of walking around corridors. There's a lot of just kind of stalking and, being scared in the dark. And
yes,
this is where I check out, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched 2, 3, and 4 back-to-back on Netflix. And I'm done. I think the first thing I say to you next time I tell you is, I am not watching the direct-to-video sequels.
So I had been reading and doing research on the Hellraiser universe and movies, whatever, and people kept saying 5 was like a good movie that broke from the mold. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to go. I went up to 5. I said, I'll probably stop after 5 because I hear the rest are just garbage, whatever. After seeing the end of 4, I mean, how many times can Pinhead be, Pinhead acts like he's the penultimate badass, but every time he loses. Like, he always gets,
he makes a deal. No, I guess he didn't make any deals.
No, he just gets, his ass handed to him again and again and again, even though he's always like, I'm the badass. So I'm like, fuck it, I want to watch 5, and I'll stop there. Now, 5 has nothing to do with any of these other 4 movies.
No.
Which is why people are like, actually a good movie. It kind of has, it breaks from tradition. So 5 is about a detective who's a bad detective.
Which, by the way, for Clive Barker people that are already kind of into this is the same actor who is the main character in Nightbreed, which I know you haven't seen, but it's there's your connection there.
So
just 20 years older.
Oh, is that far apart?
Something like that.
Okay,
like Nightbreed came out in the 80s.
Whatever.
I think maybe early 90s.
So 5. He's a detective, but he likes to do drugs. He likes to scam money.
He's bad lieutenant, which you haven't seen. He's basically bad lieutenant.
Whatever the case may be. So he's a family man. He's got a daughter. He's got a wife. But, he treats him like shit because he's, like, out in the town and I got to stay late at work because I got to bang this chick. He's Woody Harrelson from True Detective.
Yeah.
He thinks he's a good dude, but, he's off doing bad shit sometimes. There's a crime scene. Some people get mutilated, all gross. And turns out he knew the guy. He went to high school with the guy. And all that's left of the scene is just, like, bits and pieces of people. There's really not any body. There's a finger. Like, oh, there's this finger left over, and it has a fingerprint on it, but it doesn't match the guy at the scene. Whatever. He finds a box. I'm just going to call it the box. No more lamenting anything like that. It's just a box. So he picks it up. Instead of putting it to evidence, just takes it for himself, puts it in his pocket, whatever, takes it back, and he's like, ooh, a puzzle thing. I don't know.
No, there's a whole voice, like, noir-style voiceover at the beginning of the movie where he was like, I like to solve puzzles, and he's like playing chess.
He's a badass detective. He solves every case.
And he does magic.
Oh, yeah, he does dumb magic tricks.
He's into magic tricks, puzzles, and games.
But his thing here is not puzzles, he solves crimes. He's the best guy. He's a hotshot detective who solves it all.
I feel like there's a whole voiceover where he's talking about solving puzzles.
He solves crimes.
Whatever. Crimes are puzzles.
They are. So he takes his box and he hires a hooker just off the street. Just like, hey, baby, what's up? Let's go get a hotel room. Like, not even discreet about it. He bangs her, wakes up in the morning. Whatever. He goes to the bathroom and he's sitting on the toilet. Not going to the bathroom, he's just sitting on the toilet, and he opens the box. And he just, whoa, crazy flashbacky type, like, sees things and kind of wakes up and goes, huh? Like, that was weird. I'm okay. That didn't happen. It was just a dream. He leaves the hotel, and she's still sleeping. He pokes her. She goes, haven't I earned my money yet?
Yeah.
Like, just, like, leave me alone, douche. So he leaves, goes to his desk, and he's like, he's riding high. He's like, yeah, she was hot. I banged her. I'm feeling good about myself. She calls his desk, and he's like, how did you get this number? She's like, help me, help me, help me. He's like, what the fuck's going on? And she's like, ah! Hangs up the phone. So he runs back to the hotel, and he finds her dead in the shower, like, all ripped open around the neck. And he's like, uh-oh. Wiping his fingerprints off of stuff, like making sure that no one knew he was there. But he tells his partner. And so he says, like, he brings his partner and he shows him. He's like, I didn't do this. I don't know what happened, whatever. And in the process, he takes his partner's box of cigarettes, pack of cigarettes out of his glove compartment, and he drops them underneath the bed, and he puts his partner's pen that he writes with on the desk. So he's fucking framing his partner.
Yeah, he's a huge pile of shit.
Yes, absolutely. Just in case as a backup. He'll just say, oh, buddy. He tells him later, like, I would just tell the guys we dropped it when we were in there looking at the scene. Anonymous tip, right? We got there by anonymous tip. We didn't go there for any other reason. You just left your pen there. He's using it as leverage. But as the time goes on, he starts seeing shit. Jacob's Ladder style, like, people's faces get all weird and, like, don't have eyeballs and they're shaking and stuff like that. And he's going, what's wrong with me? Did I do these drugs wrong? Because he found a vial of drugs at one of the crime scenes and he did it. Of course, why wouldn't you, right? He thinks maybe he's like having a bad trip. He goes and talks to his informant, who's an ice cream man selling drugs to kids, or, whatever, of course. He's like, where did this come from? And he's like, the engineer. And he's like, who the fuck is the engineer? He's like, if you hunt the engineer hunts you.
Yeah, best line in the movie.
Yeah, and it pops up again and again and again. And so he's just like, what the fuck? And he's like, someone's coming after me. He goes away. Someone sends him a VHS, a tape of the ice cream man drug dealer getting murdered in his van. And he goes to show the tape to his boss, and the tape is just static. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, there's nothing on here.
It's basically just this guy is Jacob's Ladder and Seven.
Yeah.
As a Hellraiser movie.
So, he goes to the crime scene, and he describes the crime scene in perfect detail. So when the guys get there, like, well, obviously you knew everything that happened here. Maybe you killed these guys. He's starting to get suspected, whatever. But he's like, I'm having bad trips. He goes and sees his mom calls from the old folks home, and he goes there.
You're skipping past the whole Twin Peaks cowboy
That's later.
Card rant. Oh, okay.
So he goes and sees his parents, and they're just like, you never call. And it's just one of these where it's really creepy because you're like, things are just off, but he doesn't seem to notice it. And this is where we talk a lot about Silent Hill. Like, you can tell he's talking to people, but, like, they're not all there. Things just don't seem right. But he doesn't seem to notice that, hey, I just went into a room, the door got locked behind me. This room doesn't connect to this room. This is my bathroom from my house connected to my parents' old folks' home, and I hear my parents being murdered, and then they're gone, but there's a bed full of blood. And there's a finger. There's always a finger at the scene. It's a child's finger, and the child was still alive when the finger was cut off.
Yeah, there's this very kind of loose, plot thread or whatever. I mean, the whole thing that's the one thing that you can actually follow through the movie is that he thinks that there's a serial killer fucking with his head,
yes,
and who has a kid.
He's cutting the fingers off.
And the kid's alive, and he's cutting the fingers off one by one. So if he just perseveres and gets through all this, he can save this kid. If he can
save this kid before he gets to the 10th finger, he can save him.
Right.
So yeah, it's just a bunch of weird, fucked up shit, and he's a bad dude, and his partner, like, people keep getting killed around him. They keep looking at it, thinking it's him. The psychologist at the police station's like, this happened before to someone. They found this box, and whatever happened, the guy blew his brains out of his desk. That's how he ended it, because he was going crazy. He keeps getting people call him, like, oh, go to this address. He goes there and sees his partner get killed. And they go to this cowboy ranch area. Now, this is what you liked it, because this is fucking weird.
This is fucking out of fucking nowhere. It's a completely different movie. Everything up until this point, like I said, it's real gross, kind of like To Live and Die in L.A., Seven. Just think of everything, think of every, like, oppressive, urban, serial killer crime kind of movie. Just gross feeling. And then all of a sudden, they go out. It's just Twin Peaks. They go out to this, like, place where they go play poker out in the middle of nowhere, and everybody's in cowboy hats. And the fucking guy who runs the place wears a cowboy hat, and when he tries to leave, the guy in the cowboy hat goes outside when he's got these two, like, bodyguards with him, and they're just like two Asian dudes with long hair, and they've got Cheyenne dusters on and cowboy hats on, and they just start going kung fu on the fucking main character. They start doing roundhouse kicks and shit. It's so fun.
And they don't even hide that they're Asian. Like, it's obvious they're, like, Asian kung fu dudes.
It's not like they had, like, some Asian guys over here, like, no, they just totally play it up.
Yeah.
And they kick the shit out of them. And it's not, and you're just like, I'm laughing, because what what the fuck is this? It seems like a joke.
Yeah, and it's the
but it's not a joke. He's like, he gets beat to shit.
Yeah, and this is the thing where, as the audience, you're going, this does not seem real, but he does not seem to realize how odd all this stuff is.
But everything else up to this point is odd and weird in a way that's like a horror movie. This is just odd and weird in a David Lynch way.
And
it makes you think the filmmaker's probably a David Lynch fan or something like that, and threw something in like that.
All said and done, he goes back to he gets calls like, oh, your house, your wife, and he runs home or some shit, and like his wife and his daughter are tied to or chained to those pillars, the rotating pillars with all the body parts on it, in his living room. But his living room is like winter. And it's snowing in his living room, and they're frozen. And his daughter tries to reach out to him, and he like touches her, and her hand falls because it cracks because it's all made of ice, and it shatters. Again, this is not real, buddy. Do you not realize this is like a fucking dream? Pinhead's there. He tries to shoot Pinhead with a shotgun, but Pinhead like walks through a door. And the next thing you know, he's in this dark, empty spot. It's just all alone, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Save this child! And he sees a kid tied up to a chair, missing fingers. And then he's like, oh, the bad guy shows up to like cut off more fingers, and it's him. It's him. And Pinhead shows up and gives this long fucking story about how you're a piece of shit. You're being punished for being a piece of shit.
Pinhead is like the ultimate speechifier. Like Pinhead does, this is what Pinhead does. Pinhead, like, he comes out of boxes, he sort of directs chains, like he doesn't, he doesn't whip them at you or anything. He just sort of like directs them, and
he makes subtle moves with his head. He kind of goes like, "Hey, over there, that direction."
He doesn't move any of his hands. He doesn't walk. He doesn't run. He just does, but he does a lot of speechifying. He's a talky motherfucker, and this is probably his swan song.
Yeah, because this is the first time in 5 movies he actually gives a real like monologue. Because I think it's this one when he goes like, I just don't understand why is it happening? He goes, whoa, why is this happening to me? Oh, humans, you always have to figure things out. You can't just let stuff go. Basically just tells them, you're a bad person. You let your desires for flesh kill your innocence. The child was his innocence. The other guy was his like, I want to fuck women guy. And the I want to fuck women guy killed his innocence. So now he's just a bad guy. That's why his wife and daughter are dead. Boo hoo hoo, it's all your own fault. And then he wakes up. He's like, cool. I was in the bathroom with the hookers hotel room. I was actually all a big dream. Great, I'm going to be a good guy now. I'm going to go love my wife and my daughter. I saw the error of my ways. Bye, hooker. I'll see you later. I'm going to go to work.
Except I won't.
Yeah, no more hooking for me.
No more hookers.
And he goes to work and he's like, I'm feeling good about myself. My partner's not dead and cool. And then he gets a phone call. And it's the hooker. Help me, help me. And he's like, what the shit is happening again? And he goes, uh-oh, it's like Groundhog Day.
It's fucking Groundhog Day.
And he goes, fuck it, pulls a gun out and goes, I'm just going to blow my brains out of my desk, just like the other guy did.
Just like Bill Murray did?
Yeah, just like Bill Murray in the end. That's actually Groundhog Day 2. But he did kill himself a lot in that movie, though.
He did, that's what I mean.
But he's like, he just ends up being like the other guy the psychologist told him about, blows his brains out of his desk. Pulls the trigger, boom, wakes up on the floor of the hotel bathroom again.
The
psychologist
The police psychologist, by the way, is Clancy Brown. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know who that is.
He's the voice of Lex Luthor in the Superman animated series.
He basically turns into Pinhead at some point.
Yeah, or he's Pinhead.
He's like, ha ha ha, it was me all along. I don't know. Yeah, and he realizes he's trapped in this everlasting hell of like, I have to live these days over and over again where everyone around me is going to be getting killed. My wife and daughter are going to be getting killed, and I can't get out. This is my personal hell.
So basically just going forward from there, he just stays with the hooker, pays her for another day.
Wouldn't you? So this sounds really bad, but it's like, well, you get to live 3 days over and over and over again, and you could just fuck hookers all the time if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you could.
I mean, you're already technically going to hell. I don't know. So it's pretty interesting. It actually is. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was really interesting.
He just needs to solve as many crimes as he can in 3 days, and if he does that, if he solves enough crimes, he'll break the cycle.
So he might think he's like in a Dark Tower situation where he's going through this loop, and maybe he can change it if he goes through it again every time. I don't know.
You just spoiled the shit out of Dark Tower for a bunch of people that have never read it before.
Oh, I'm sorry. The books have only been around for 30 fucking years. Spoiler alert.
Are you really going to describe
I did not just tell the end of the thing at all. So shut up. So, yeah, it's a good movie. It's actually worth watching, and it's not a Hellraiser movie until the last 5 or 10 minutes when you see Pinhead.
Which is basically when eventually we ever talk about the comic books or you watch the movie or watch the video that we make. That's pretty much the comics. The comics are not – the best of them are not really Hellraiser stories until the very end.
And now moving forward, the rest of the series, it's no longer like this is the idea now. It's these kind of like one-shots that aren't Hellraiser, but they try to like push Pinhead in. So if you take the Hellraiser part out, it's still a good movie. You throw Pinhead in, you're like, well, you're just forcing it. But hey, it's fucking Pinhead. I love him. Put him in anything. Give him a 10-minute speech. That's great. Yeah. You know, his voice is awesome.
Because he's going to show up for one day shooting is basically what's going to happen.
He was in it a little bit, but yeah, he's barely in the movie. And it's the very, very end of the movie that he's actually in. And you keep thinking, oh, Pinhead's like the engineer or some shit. No, it's all red herring.
If you describe the next 4 movies, I'm going to kill myself.
So we kind of found out that what happens when you watch a lot of Hellraiser movies is that you think, maybe I opened a box, and my personal hell is I have to keep watching these movies until the end of eternity.
And kind of like Hellraiser, maybe you learn to like it a little bit. Like it's really fucking bizarre.
You can't have supreme pleasure without supreme pain. I don't have to watch Hellraiser movies anymore, so now I know what true joy feels like.
But, whatever. You've clearly found like something to like with some of the later movies. Hey, Dean Winters is in the next one.
Yeah, I like this.
Kirsty makes a reappearance.
Do we move on to 6 now?
Oh man, you got to truncate this shit.
I know. So 6 sees the return of the heroine from the first movie. And she's living her life, and she's happily married to some dude who's the guy who's from
I tried to watch this in just one time speed. I saw maybe 10 minutes. I saw Dean Winters. I'm like, ooh, Dean Winters. Oh, and Kirsty from the first movies in this. All right, I'll give it a shot. I watched
it for those insurance commercials where he pretends to be a girl.
It's really great in Oz, too.
Whatever.
It's a really good show.
The insurance commercials.
And the insurance commercials, it's Geico. Geico insurance.
No.
Is it not?
It's like Allstate or something.
Allstate. One of them. Doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, whatever.
We've messed up. We've like misquoted. We fucking like every fucking fact about these movies is probably wrong. We're really worried about like which actual commercials he was in. Yeah, other movie's real goddamn boring. I don't know how you got the whole way through it. That is very impressive. Oh, I know how you got through it. You watched it like faster than I did.
Yes. So to make a short story, it's a lot like 5. Again, instead of being a detective, he's just a guy, but he's having bad dreams. Like, him and Kirsty are our relationship was bad. We're going to fix this. Haha, we love each other. They crash off a bridge into water, and he gets out, and he couldn't get her out of the car, so he's being investigated for her disappearance. They don't find a body. Gosh, he's having migraine headaches. He went in a car accident, so he's starting to see things. He has bad amnesia. As time goes on, you find out the dude's just another man whore. He's banging the girl down the thing. He's banging his boss. He's banging everyone behind his wife's back. He's kind of a piece of garbage. I mean, do you see a recurring theme in all the Hellraiser movies now? And so
it's basically the same fucking thing.
Yeah, I'll skip
as
almost
the movie
all of it.
Before. Instead of him being a detective, like he's just.
It's just funny because there's dumb shit in this movie where like the cops call him into the police station to go like, "We want to talk to you again." He sits down for maybe 2 questions, and they go, all right, we'll see you later.
Yeah. I'd be so fucking pissed.
Yeah.
You're going to, like, take time off work. You're going to, like, make your way downtown. You're going to find a parking spot. You probably got to fucking get, like, validated stickers or whatever the fuck. Oh, that's horrible. That would be terrible for 2 fucking minutes, and then you go home.
And it happens multiple times where he just shows up, and they're like, we found some new information. Can't really tell you about it. I'll talk to you later. Bye. But
just talk about Kirsty.
So what happens is there's 2 detectives, a black guy and a white guy. The black guy's the good guy. The white guy's like I believe you're guilty. And they're kind of giving the runaround. They're trying to get him in jail. And the black guy's like, I'm going to help you out. I believe you didn't do anything. They finally find a body. And the black guy's like, come down and try to ID it. And he takes him down through the basement of the police station, just like the Hellraiser 2 with underneath the hospital. It's all weird. It's like pipes and stuff and like boilers. It's just dirty, and you're like, this is not. If I walk down here, I'm like, no, this is not the way to the morgue. Halfway down, he locks him behind a jail cell door.
They have a jail down there too.
But whatever. He locks him behind a jail cell door, but it's a long hallway, so it's not like he's in a cell. And the guy's like, I gave you a chance, blah, 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 I don't know. And the black guy's, his head starts to like, and the white guy's head comes out on the side, on like a tentacle.
Like the thing with 2 heads.
Yes. And he's like, he gives them this speech about people have a good side and a bad side. I'm the pure good side. This is the pure bad side. What works is when they do a good dichotomy of being together. Just like the speech from 3, where he's like the good Pinhead, the bad Pinhead. They try to pull some of that stuff back. Basically, you have to find a good balance between good and bad. You don't have to be perfectly good balance. He went too far to his bad side. He runs to the morgue. He opens up the sheet, and he sees his own body instead of Kirsty's. And he's like, what? And Pinhead shows up and is like, basically, you're a piece of garbage. Like, here we go again. Yeah. And so they do a nice flashback where Kirsty, what had happened is their anniversary. He got her a gift, and it was the box.
The shittiest fucking, like, anniversary gift you could ever possibly give anybody.
He gives her a box, and he was constantly videotaping everything, so you're watching, like, found footage at this point. She's like, why would you get this for me? This is bad, or whatever. And so what you would...
Wait, so had she told him about any of her...
no idea. No idea.
Like, 'cause it kind of makes a big difference. Like, if he knew that, like, about these boxes, what the fuck is he... That would be like...
Yeah, I know. So what it was is you thought everything was all cheery between them and they were, like, patching things up. It turns out, like, nah, he's just being a piece of garbage. He like, shows him going, like, what? What's your problem? I try to get you something nice and this is what you do to me? So she goes, fine. I'm going to open the box.
What a woman.
And you're like, wait a minute. You went through all this shit, and you're going to open the fucking box knowing exactly what's going to happen.
But
right?
she's got it fucking all figured out because she knows what she's going to do.
But she should know better. you don't, whatever. So she opens the box, and this is like interview with Pinhead, and she's like, oh, you want my soul, right? And he's like, oh, we've been waiting a long time, Kirsty. Sounds like Davy Jones from SpongeBob a little bit. And she goes, wait, I'll make a deal with you. And this is where, like, oh, I love a good bargain. What's this? You got a deal for me? She's like, I'll bring you 5 souls in exchange for my 1 soul. And he's like, well, we don't come out of that box very often, and we only usually get 1 soul. 5 souls is a lot. Okay, you got a deal. Her whole plan was kill my boyfriend husband, the girls he's been cheating on me with, and his co-worker who they had devised a plan to kill me and steal my inheritance. So she, like, opens the box so that she can get revenge on her boyfriend and all these nasty people.
Which is a pretty confident, ballsy move. Like,
absolutely.
if you like, almost, like, had your soul, like,
multiple
dragged
times.
Down to damnation multiple times. You go, I've done this a couple times already, and I know Pinhead. He's kind of a pushover. Like, I know he's a sucker for a good deal.
Yeah, so, I mean, she's pretty confident. She gets him in, she makes a deal with him, and,
No credit to Pinhead, by the way, because he totally fucking falls for a hook, line, and sinker.
Well, he doesn't care. He got what he wanted, and he's like, we'll get to you one day, Kirsty. We'll come back. We have eternity.
Which is, like, again, I was saying to you earlier, like, you should just always have, like, these fucking, like, these feelers for you, right?
like, she basically turned Pinhead into her own personal assassin.
It's like you're fishing, you get the small fish and you throw the big fish out to get the big fish. Like, if everybody you threaten, because everybody's going to go, I'll do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Don't take me to hell. And you just go, okay, you go get me 5 souls. You just got to fucking expand, you know? You got to diversify.
So, whatever said and done, it was her that was causing him to have all these things. He was dead the whole time. Big twist, shocker. He was just, the people he was seeing in this world were like the crime scene investigators who were like zipping up his body into the bag. It's like the doctor he used to see for his
headaches. So it's basically Wizard of Oz.
I guess.
And you were there, and you were there.
Yes, exactly.
And you were the Scarecrow, and you were the Tin Man.
So what it was when they crashed off the bridge, she just pulled out a gun and was like, I know what you're going to try to do. You're going to try to kill me and make my money. Too bad. She blows his fucking brains out right there in the car. And then
something she could have waited to do when the vehicle wasn't moving.
Yeah, I know. So, and then she just tells the cops, he just blew his brains out while we were driving. I don't know why. Everything was great. And turns out the gun matched all these other murders that she had been committing or whatever. So again,
wait. So what happens with her? She gets arrested?
No, she's like, you're free to go. Like, it turns out it was your boyfriend was the bad guy. You're lucky to be alive. And the guy goes, oh, by the way, the black guy because that's where whatever he had seen him as he was dying. He goes, we found this thing in the water. We were going to put it in evidence, but I figured you might want it as a memento for your boyfriend. The mass murderer who was killing everybody and blew his brains out. I want you to have a memento for him, and it's, of course, the box. And she just gives it a look like, God damn it, I thought I was rid of this thing. I thought I could just let it go in the water, and I could go on with my life, but no. Yeah, I guess I'll take it.
Or she could have just left it, or kind of break it, or take it outside and then throw it back out into the bridge or whatever. I figured the only reason she's keeping it is because having a fucking Pinhead get out of jail free card is actually pretty good. Like, that's better than having a taser. It's better than having, like, one of those, like, security, press the panic button or whatever. Yeah. Like, anything's going wrong in your life, you just fucking bring Pinhead and be like, all right, check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
This person's been dogging me at the store. Can you take care of him for me?
You tear this guy apart. I'll give you 2. You got me 5 last time. This time I'll do 2 this time. All right, 3.
Yeah. I love a good bargain. So, yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I actually enjoyed it because if you don't know the twist is coming, you don't realize any of this shit. But Pinhead gives another little cool speech.
Reiterate one more time. You say this is a good movie. You watched it 3 times speed. Just want to make sure.
If you can watch it at 3 times speed, I highly recommend it. Which leaves us now with 7. This has to be okay. 7 and 8 were shot back to back by the same director, and they were both based off a book called Dark Can't Breathe. Or
that's how I feel when we're talking about these later movies.
It's something like Dark Can't Breathe. I don't know, whatever. So the thing is that we kind of seen the last 2 movies are not quite Hellraiser movies. This is literally a short story or a book, whatever.
By not Hellraiser movies, we mean like the Hellraiser stuff is there, but it's very small quantities.
It's shoehorned in.
Yeah, like these could easily just be like just bad ghost supernatural type movies.
So 7, actually no, sorry, I think 8 is the one that's based off of whatever. Basically, it's you got a story that has nothing to do with Hellworld or Hellraiser. Jesus, the terminology starts getting mixed up in my brains. And they go, cool book. Cool story. Let's take it, give it to a screenwriter, now shove Pinhead and the box in. And now make it a Hellraiser movie. So 7 and 8 kind of feel both disjointed from the Hellraiser world, oddly enough, because 8 is all about fucking Hellraiser. 7, I'll sum it up in like really short, because it doesn't have anything to do with Pinhead. It's another reporter who's in the UK, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to get the story. She becomes a crack whore at one point, so she get like the underground drug story. There's a VHS sent to her boss where it's like...
We're still viewing VHSs?
Yes.
Where? What?
2005.
VHSs?
2005 this movie was made.
All right.
His boss gets a VHS, and it's like a group of kids are like, trust us. Like, trust me, buddy, or girl. Well, whatever. She lays down on a bed, she blows her brains out with a gun, and the leader sucks her mouth and brings her back to life. And she's like, what the? Is that real? Like, the guy's bringing people back from the dead. So she's going to go investigate it. He's like, you shouldn't do this. It's dangerous, whatever. It's just like, it's in Romania. It's like the time when Bruce Campbell was making movies in Romania a lot. And like all the little fake cars, like it doesn't feel like a real movie because it's shot in like low budget and you're some European nation and whatever. She goes and investigates it. She hooks up with these people. It's just all weird. There's lots of titties, as always. So, by the way, all the movies always have a pair of tits. At least one.
I don't think there's any breasts in the first one.
I'm telling you, there's a sex scene between her and
Julia?
Frank and Julia. Yeah. Trophy wife shows her trophy tits. In 7, you get a dick shot.
They waited a long time.
Romania. That's why it was shot in Europe.
Damn.
You wouldn't do that shit in the U.S., but man, you go to Europe, fucking dicks everywhere, right? They're more open about their sexuality. They're on a subway train.
That's how they're serious about their art.
Exactly. It's art. It's not gratuitous. Basically, there's a subway train, and the last train car is like a party train car. And it's just people just fucking... It's just... She's walking by and there's like, yeah!
So that was actually just like found footage. Like that wasn't actually like shot for the movie. That's what happens over there in Romania.
Yeah. This isn't a movie. This is a documentary. Sorry to any Romanian people, but no one's listening to this, so whatever. She gets a hold of them and she's having weird... she opened the box sort of or something like that because she found one and... She hooks up these people. She goes the whole thing, and they're like, you have to kill yourself so I can bring you back. She's like, no. And she's having dreams of her dad raping her when she was a kid or something like that. And in the end, she gets down there, and she opens the box, and Pinhead comes out and kills them all. And she's like, he brought her back from the dead, the guy, whatever. And so she's like, Pinhead, you can't have my soul because that guy took it or something like that. And Pinhead's like, nope, the only way back is through me. And the guy needs her to open the box for Pinhead. It makes no sense. Like, it literally, out of all the movies, this is the one where I kind of was like, and I think they even admitted later on, they're like, yeah, they had to shoehorn him in there so bad. Like, it didn't really make much sense to have him there. And it ends with her killing herself.
But at this point, it's like firmly solidified that like the Hellraiser franchise as a horror franchise
has lost a lot of steam now. Hey, just okay.
There ain't no steam left, but no, it's also set itself completely apart from the other ones. They're not fun, not even slightly. Like you look at every other like major horror franchise. You look at Chucky, you look at Friday the 13th, you look at Freddy. There's a sense of humor, like a sense of fun to all of them. Whether it's like, ooh, watch all the teenagers get like, destroyed in funny ways, or if it's Freddy Krueger like doing his one-liners, wherever, Chucky doing his one-liners. Hellraiser is the really uber serious, fucking dark, except with the exception of the third one.
Yeah.
Like, that could have pushed it into the crazy, like, campy territory. These are the movies that take themselves really seriously. I haven't seen this movie that you're talking about.
Really?
7?
It's not worth seeing.
I'm not gonna.
Sorry.
You didn't convince me.
Sorry, I remember the subtitle. It's Deader. I don't know if I said that earlier.
Okay. It just sounds so fucking dark. I mean, like, every movie's been dark up until this point. Just like, what can we throw in there? Okay, we can do hookers. We'll do drugs. We have rape in there yet? We have molestation.
Yeah.
Just like everything. That's what Hellraiser's all wrapped up in that at this point.
Well,
that's what all that said. You said crack horror now.
Wait till we get to 9, because you didn't watch enough of 9 to. They really pushed the.
Oh, you're gonna skip Hellworld?
I'm not gonna skip it. There's something that happens at 9. It's like, well, they've covered everything now. Needless to say, and 7 was shot like it was like a TV show. Like there's weird like zooms. Like should be walking and the camera just zooms in really
Same
far.
thing doing like The Office, kind of like mugs of the camera. Like I know, right?
It's just weird because the guy shot 7 and 8. 8's just like so radically different, but 7. And the director's a cinematographer background, and it's just like it's a weird looking movie. There's one cool scene where she's running, she's going between 2 walls, and it keeps getting more and more narrow, like that scene in Inception when he's running away in Africa, and she's like, trying to squeeze through. And
do you think maybe Christopher Nolan watched this before he made Inception?
No, because it's stupid. No one watched this movie.
Hellworld, go.
And there's cockroaches. Lots of cockroaches. CGI cockroaches.
Oh, so there's no cockroach wrangler. Let's make sure.
They didn't hire one, no. Hellworld. Okay.
We're almost there, guys.
This is 8. We're number... yeah, we're almost there. Number 8.